Since we made our last video explaining all FREELAP timing system products back in 2023, a lot has changed. New products have been released and older products have gotten upgrades that make them easier to use. Now let's start with the first and most important product within the FREELAP product line, the FX chip BLE. This is the Bluetooth chip that will hold the time measurements. It clips onto the front of your thigh and is placed right below the belly button. These chips used to be powered by replaceable batteries, but FREELAP made their whole lineup rechargeable. These rechargeable FX chip BLEs are a little bigger than their older versions, but weigh exactly the same at 17 grams. These chips have these two small pins in the lower gap that slide into the charging stick, which can be plugged into a charging brick. A charging stick can hold up to 4 chips with the clips still attached, or 6 chips if the clip is detached. The rechargeable battery will last about 100 hours and it takes a chip about 5 hours to fully charge. The chips are accurate up to 200ths of a second and can hold 10 laps or split times. They have an IP67 rating, meaning the chips are water and dust resistant. Finally, they can operate in a heat range from -20 up to 50 degrees Celsius, which is -4 up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. The FX chip BLE used to be the only Bluetooth chip FREELAP offered, but a couple of months ago they released a new premium chip, the FX Motion. This chip does exactly the same as the FX chip BLE, meaning starting, taking split times and stopping time measurements, but it has a few extra tricks up its sleeve that makes it worth the name premium. The FX Motion has the capability to detect your reaction time while also measuring your step length, step frequency and number of steps. These chips, however, can only hold 5 split times compared to the 10 on the FX chip BLE. All other technical parameters, like the accuracy of the measurement, battery life, resistance to water and dust, are identical to the FX chip BLE. Once you've done your sprints, all the metrics get sent to the My FREELAP app, but more on that later. If you want to do more research on all the FREELAP products we discuss, know that you can find the links to them in the description below. Now on to the next unmissable product to time your sprints with FREELAP, the Junior Pro cones. These cones emit a start, lap or finish signal to the chip the athlete is wearing. You can easily switch between these 3 modes by tapping the on button. If you hold the on button for a longer period, you turn on the cones on or off. The emitted signal is a circular one and covers 2 lanes, which means you can put a cone on the line between 2 lanes and it won't matter in what lane the athlete will run or whether there is an athlete running in the lane on the left side of the cone and one in the lane on the right side of the cone. As long as they are wearing a chip, their times will get measured. These cones also used to be powered by replaceable batteries, but have been updated with a rechargeable system. They use a magnetic cable that snaps onto the front and has a USB Type-A connection on the other end. The charging time is about 4 hours and the battery should last for about 150 hours. Now there is an automatic shutdown after 12 hours in case you forgot to turn off the device. Like all FREELAP products, the TX Junior Pro cones are also IP67 rated and can operate in a heat between -20 up to 50 degrees Celsius. The great thing about these cones is that you can place up to 10 of them behind each other to record split times. The only requirement here is that the minimum recorded time between 2 cones is no less than 0.7 seconds. And for most athletes, that just means you won't place cones any closer than 10 meters from each other, except maybe when you're doing hurdles. While these Junior Pro cones can start the time measurement of a flying sprint, they are not meant to be used for standstill starts. For these 2-point, 3-point or block starts, FREELAP has 4 dedicated products that can be used, with the first one being the TX Pad Pro and the TX Touch Pro. We'll discuss them at the same time because they share more similarities than differences. Both the Pad Pro and the Touch Pro are meant to put a finger on the device, and whenever the finger, which will be the thumb, releases the device, a start signal will be sent to the chip the athlete is wearing. Because they just have one button and only one signal they can emit, they are perfect for block and 3-point starts. You just place them right behind the starting line and you're good to go. The main differences between these 2 products is first and foremost its shape. The Pad Pro is a bit more ergonomic with a small plate on the bottom that is only 3 mm thick and keeps the thumb at nearly the same height as the rest of your fingers that are placed on the track. The Touch Pro is much thicker and comes 1 cm off the ground, which can make you feel a bit uneven in a 3-point or block start. Because the Pad Pro has a dedicated finger placement area and a power button, the device can be turned on and off, which saves battery, while the Touch Pro only has the play/start button, meaning it's always on in a sort of sleep mode until the button gets pressed. The Pad Pro can fully charge last 300 hours, while the Touch Pro can record up to 20,000 starts. Both devices have their rechargeable batteries that take about 2 hours to fully charge, a 1.5 meter detection field, an operating temperature of -20 up to 50 degrees Celsius, and that IP67 rating. Now, before we go on to the next starting device, there is one important thing you need to know if you want to time your sprints and distances correctly. When you use one of the FREELAP starting options, you will have a Junior Pro cone in the finish mode at the desired distance. If that, for example, is a 30-meter sprint, you normally place the cone 30 meters from the starting line. Now, because the Junior Pro cone has that 1.5 meter detection field, the recorded time, if you would do it like this, will only be 29 meters and 20 centimeters. Therefore, when you use one of the FREELAP starting devices, you always add 80 centimeters to the distance you want to run. This way you correct for the detection field. Note that this only needs to be done with start devices. When you do a fly sprint, you don't need to correct for anything. The third starting option is the e-starter. This cone has a microphone built in that can give you the starting commands. It has the same detection field as the Junior Pro cones, which means you can use it to time 2 athletes coming out of the blocks at the same time. The older model of the e-starter only had a voice command mode, but this new updated model also has both the e-start voice command mode as well as the start mode for the flying sprints. In the e-start mode, the button on the top of the cone is used to set off the voice commands. Once pressed, you have 10 seconds to be on your marks, you'll get the set command, and the gun will go off around 1.5 to 2.5 seconds after the set command. This new e-starter got another improvement compared to its first generation. You can use up to 3 e-starters in series with one another and synchronize their voice commands. This way you can time up to 3 athletes in the curve or 6 on the straight. One side note here is that you have to make sure you're really close to the middle e-starter. Otherwise, there will be some lag in the voice commands. As you're expecting now, this e-starter is also IP67 rated, can operate between -20 and 50 degrees Celsius, and it uses the same magnetic cable as the Junior Pro cone, Pad Pro or Touch Pro to charge its battery, which will take about 4 hours to fully charge and can last up to 500 hours. The final starting option that FREELAP offers is the Power and Space unit. This oval flag or pole is meant as a starter option for larger groups. It has a wider detection zone of 6 meters, which will let you trigger the start of up to 8 lanes. The device consists of the antenna flag that ensures the wider detection field and the power unit, which will give the signal and has the battery, etc. This device has a different charging cable from the magnetic one than is used with the cones. The charging time of the battery is about 10 hours, and fully charged, the battery lasts about 50 hours. Once the Power and Space unit is set up, you put it 2 meters behind the starting line and in the lane between the 2 most middle starting blocks. The coach or assistant gets behind the unit and gives the starting commands. When he shouts, claps his hands or uses a clapping board, the starting signal will be triggered on the Power and Space unit and it will activate the time measurement on the chips of the sprinting athletes. Like we said, this is mostly aimed at coaches with larger groups that need time tracking in multiple lanes, universities or professional training groups. On to the next FREELAP running device, which is maybe the least useful one and the most overkill product there is, the LED display. This is just as the name says, an LED display that will show the times that have been run. You just place it within 50 meters of the finishing cone and all the data of that run, meaning the end time and all the splits, will be shown on the display. This thing weighs 2 kilograms and has a 10-hour battery life and has a 64 by 32 dot resolution. Now, to be honest, the use for this product goes beyond me. Maybe 4 years ago, when the My FREELAP app wasn't as good as it is now, this product could have been useful. But now you just set up your phone, iPad, or basically the device you always have with you on a tripod and let the times just roll in, and there is no need for an extra big display. You might have noticed that we didn't mention any prices with these products. This is because FREELAP works with middleman distributors, and for every continent there is a different one, which makes it so prices kind of depend from where you are and where you buy them. We've listed some of the distributors down below if you want to do some more research on your own. If this video was helpful, consider liking and subscribing. This truly means a lot to us.